our students and our faculty who are part of the panel. And for you, your questions were terrific. And so I especially loved the best moment at DVC question. And I think that really does get to a lot of people's experience. And we sincerely hope it will be your experience, and we're going to do everything we can to make it so. So next, we are going to be moving into a very important workshop, which is to ensure your success in this online college environment. And we have some members of our distance education team who are going to be leading this workshop and giving you a lot of fantastic advice on how you can be successful in your classes this semester. So I'd like to welcome Ann Kingsley, Lisa Orta, Wendy Poling, and Crystala Button, who are fantastic members of our team here that are going to take you through this next workshop.
Great, thank you. And I'll need to screen share in a second. My name's Ann Kingsley. We're going to introduce ourselves in a second, but we just wanted to say welcome. We're really excited that you're here today. I hope the panel has kind of brought up that enthusiasm in you. It does in us to start this new semester. We know this is a very different semester than we've started ever before, but we have a really good plan in place. And we want to assure you that you are in the right place right now, continuing your education. Even though it is online, you are in a good hands and in a good place. So as the distance education team, we want to just help you prepare by getting you some insight into the technology that you're going to need and a little preview of the course systems that you're going to be interacting with and some advice from professors. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. And technology sometimes can be a little slow, especially when we're all melting here. You'll see this little tiny URL. You're welcome to write it down, and then we'll also try to find some ways to promote this to you, whether with a follow-up email, etc. But this is a URL to this PowerPoint presentation. So I'm Ann Kingsley. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers. I'm English faculty here, but I'm also the distance education coordinator. So I do a lot of work with teacher training and helping out with our distance education program. I really love technology in the classroom, but when I'm not online and I'm not teaching online, I like to be far away from the online world and pretty much off the grid. Snow and mountains are my preferred place of choice. And I'm going to pass this off to Crystala.
Hi, I'm Crystala Button. My preferred pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am the Technology Training and Development Coordinator here at DVC, but a former English and English language development teacher, as well as a Google certified educator. In my free time, I generally travel a lot, and so now I am traveling through books and food. I have the good habit of finding new cookbooks and making stuff from all over the world.
Hello everyone, I'm Wendy Poling. I also use she, her, hers pronouns. I'm part-time English faculty here at DVC, and I actually started here at DVC as a student. First generation student, had no idea what I wanted to study and really just fell in love with all of the things that the previous panelists have been talking about. Total introvert here, so when I'm not working, I'm into video games, movies, chilling with my pugs, and baking.
And hi, I'm Lisa Orta, and starting my 25th year as a professor here. My preferred pronouns, she, her, and hers. I've been here for almost 25 years, so I obviously really love being here. And I've been teaching online at DVC for probably almost 15 years. So I've watched online teaching change and evolve over time. And outside of school, I love world music. I love live theater. That's a problem right now. And I've been streaming a lot of British mysteries and trying to get my daughter to stay in my bubble.
Okay, thank you guys. So before school starts, so kind of think like next week kind of thing. We have a couple of tips, advice. You don't have to do this, but we highly and strongly encourage you to do a few things to prepare yourself to get ready for online learning. So give me a second because I'm going to show you where you can find this information. The first thing that we want you to do is just make sure you have the right technology to start. And if you Google DVC online education, you're going to get to our homepage. And when you're on our homepage for DVC Online, you can go to tech support and find technology resources. And right here is where you can request a technology that you may need. And we really want to emphasize that if you need your own personal computer, like you can't share with your brother because he is also doing a Zoom meeting and a whole bunch of other stuff that he's involved with, or your family or friends or roommates are also online, you're going to want a personal device in your hands and ready to go on day one. So if you do not have access to that personal device, you're going to want to fill out this technology form, which will put you in touch with either a laptop if you need it, a web camera if you're doing Zoom sessions, headphones, calculator, and even Wi-Fi hotspots. So we want to make sure that, again, students know that through the online education page, you'll also be able to find this in multiple other locations. You can find the right technology resources and have those in your hand by the first day. The second thing that we want you to do is to review the Canvas Getting Started page. And so if I come back to this online education, I can see under the Canvas symbol here that under Canvas Student Resources, I can, especially in this top box up here, I can get everything I've ever wanted to know and more about Canvas. So any questions you've had, we've organized everything that comes up a lot for students, especially in that first week. So if you want to just take 10, 15 minutes and just know what's there, that's going to be a really good use of your time before school starts. The other two things we want to bring your attention to are two badges that we're promoting. These two badges, there's a Canvas training badge and an online success badge. Each of these takes about like 40 minutes if you click through quickly. Maybe if you want to dwell and take your time through it, it takes an hour. But each one of these is going to really set you up for success for online. And what they do is they give you the groundwork so that when you start class, if I'm in Professor Orta's class, I want to focus on Professor Orta. I want to focus on my peers. I don't want to learn Canvas as I'm trying to learn English. So these are some of the badges that will help you and kind of reward you for doing that training beforehand. You can also do it throughout the year. So if you can't get to it next week, it's not a problem, but we're highly encouraging that you go get those two badges. And then I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Professor Folling.
All right, so I know that we will be, I think Professor Orta is going to talk about Canvas. And Canvas is really a hub and a home base for your current semester as a DVC student. Insight is really your hub or home base for your entire time as a DVC student. And there's a ton of information. And I'm going to go kind of quickly, so feel free to put something in the chat or email one of us. You can get to Insight from the DVC Home Page, dvc.edu. It's up at the very top. And here, if you want to click, there is an Insight app. Here is a screen of what the Insight homepage looks like. And you'll see all kinds of tiles. If there's anything you need to know about how to student or really what you need to do, you'll find it here on Insight. So up in the upper left-hand corner, that's how you can access your email. I saw a few questions like that go through the chat. Resources, also up at the upper top. Really fantastic. You can download Office for free. So PowerPoint, Word, And you'll find that in the resources tab, along with a link so you can register to vote. Let's see, also if you can go back and to the main page with all the tiles, perfect. So settings in the middle is where you can go to make sure that you have, or that DVC has your current address and everything to get your swag. You want to make sure you do that. Let's see what else we've got here. So one kind of weird thing, and I don't know why it's this way, but on that tile at the very start of the Insight tile, the Canvas tile there is green. And so sometimes students have a hard time finding it. Everywhere else on DVC websites, it's red, but it does include a green tile, so that's kind of frustrating. It's where you will go to find your classes, add and drop a class, request transcripts, find your grades at the end of the semester. So it really is going to help you find a lot of information for your entire time at DVC. I know that there was a lot of comments and questions about counseling, and that is a tile at the very bottom of the Insight page as well. So, you know, it's not hard to learn and tour around, but it really is a great resource.
Awesome, thank you. And now we are going to shift to Canvas.
All right, so I'll go ahead and get started with Canvas. And I know, thank you for both of you commenting a little bit on it so we know what it is at this point. But Canvas is basically where all of your course materials will be housed in your individual courses. So the image that you're seeing there is what's called your Canvas dashboard. And each little square is your course card for a course that you might be enrolled in. So you can see there's 6 on this one. You may have 1, you may have a few more than that. But these are all individual courses that you may be enrolled in Canvas. So I like to think about it almost like a binder, right? Like this is my course, and then within that binder are all the things that make up my course. So handouts and assignments and things like that will be inside my Canvas course. So you can access some information on it, just like Professor Kingsley had showed you. The DVC online education site has not only a login link for Canvas, but also a lot of how-tos. So if this is your first time using Canvas, definitely visit that resource and you can take a look at some of the recommendations that we have, answers to questions, and also that badge course. We highly encourage you to go through the Canvas badge course to just learn the ins and outs of Canvas so you can really focus on your actual class itself. So a few other things just to know about Canvas. There's an option for a profile, so you can set up your profile and let your instructor kind of know who you are, what your interests are. But you can also download the Canvas student app and set up any notifications. So you can, if you use your phone all the time like I do, you can set up your notifications on your phone as well as your computer. That way you'll never forget when something is due or when you need to contact somebody for something. Another pro tip, it mostly works best with Google Chrome as your browser. So if you're using your laptop or Chromebook, just make sure you're using Google Chrome. And if you're unsure of how to download that, you can Google download Google Chrome, and it's the first link that pops up. So your notification preferences. I know somebody had previously mentioned earlier that you can link your personal email to your Canvas. You can do that. And you can set notifications to not only go to your Canvas email, but also to your personal email address. So that way you're getting reminders of due dates, when things are graded, any files that are uploaded, things like that, that might be really important that you may not want to miss. Go ahead to the next one for me, Anne. So the Canvas calendar, I don't know about you, but I definitely am a planner. I like to write things down, but I also like to have my calendar online. So Canvas populates one automatically for you based on any assignments with due dates or things that your instructor has put on Canvas with reminders or due dates so that they pop up kind of on the right-hand side of that screen. And right below that is also a to-do list. So that to-do list shows you what are the upcoming things that you need to take care of. If your instructor has given you graded feedback on an assignment, it'll also pop up there. So it's kind of like a checklist that you can make sure you get the most important things done right away. And then you can balance that against your calendar and keep a bigger picture of what's due and what you need to take care of in your course. Announcements are another feature that allow you to kind of keep track of some important things in your course. Oftentimes the instructor will post announcements with important due dates, but also like that first one there is the Zoom link. If you have a Zoom link that you need to access a meeting, your instructor most likely will put it in there, and then you can click and access things through there. Sometimes I'll post things that I just find interesting and are related to what we're learning. So that's a great way to kind of keep not only in touch with what's happening in the class, but also keep in touch with your instructor and other students in the course to make that personal connection. Let's see, and lastly, and probably most importantly to you, is the grade book. This is where you'll see scores for assignments, but also instructor feedback. So you have a couple of different things you can do in here. You have the what if option that allows you to kind of see what your score or overall score would be if you had this particular kind of grade on this assignment. What would it affect my score? You have instructor notes and feedback, and it's kind of easy to miss that one, so I put a little yellow box around it. It looks like a dialog box. There's where you'll read any notes from your instructor. So if you're wondering why you got the score that you did, most likely there are comments waiting for you to read. And then at the bottom, you can see those data points. Maybe you need to put a little bit more effort into those tests and bring that percentage up. So just pay attention to those percentages, know where you need to spend your time, and then reach out to your instructor if you're ever at all confused about anything. Please reach out. We'll move on to some resources. I think, Lisa, that one's yours.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was so focused on giving advice, that's what I'm really good at. So this is really important, actually. There's a 24/7 student support line available to students, and I don't want students to feel frustrated for more than maybe 2 minutes. And then you should jump on and give the Canvas helpline a call. We've also got support at the college, which I think is going to be also explained a little bit later. But don't let the learning management system get the best of you. There's lots of help out there. We've got great, as the students implied, great student support at the college. We have an Ask Center where you can get tutoring, but you can also get a lot of guidance on using Canvas, but also on being a student online. It's not necessarily a venue that all students are familiar with. And these are excellent, outstanding tutors, primarily very successful students who staff the center and will help students with any questions you have about online learning. And then NetTutor is a feature that I use a lot with my online students. There's a bit of a trick to NetTutor, and so this is a bonus for all of you being here at this session, because you see at the bottom it says evenings after 5, 24/7, Saturdays and Sundays. Well, that is how the NetTutor was available to students before we all went online. But there's a secret, and the secret is you can actually jump in and work with a NetTutor either live or drop your paper in a Dropbox or ask a question pretty much 24/7 now. So all you have to do when you go into your subject area is click the box to override that message, and then you can click right through and get 24/7 tutoring help. And here's my advice. I love the graphic that Anne dropped in here. Don't defeat yourself. For some of you students and for some of us instructors, online teaching and learning is familiar. For many of you, it isn't. Everybody can do this. It's just a step-by-step process. And the thing to keep in mind is that you and your teacher are a team in this journey. So The goal is, if you have a question for us, send it to us right away. If we have a question for you, pick up your inbox messages, pick up your email, go read the announcements. It's got to be a really easy flow of back and forth. Announcements can get annoying. A lot of instructors use announcements very heavy-handedly, but for now, because we're all in this shutdown environment, you need to pay attention to your announcements. Try not to tell yourself that you got a ding ding on your phone from your sociology teacher, you'll get to it later, because you probably won't. So when you get those messages, you get those announcements, it's a really good idea to pick them up and at least glance through them right when they come through to your device. Office hours. Office hours for some students are unfamiliar, especially for entering first-year students. The irony with that is that we faculty love office hours. We absolutely love it when students show up in person. I love it when students show up to my drop-in online office hours. I learned years ago that the best way for me to do this is I just have set online Zoom hours that I'm available. Students drop in, they talk to me, we get questions answered, they get inspiration, but also they start to talk to each other in our online office hours. So definitely set yourself a goal. I tell all my students within the first 2 weeks to drop into somebody's office hour, one of your instructor's office hours during that first 2 weeks of the term. You'll get over your nervousness, you're gonna love it, and you're gonna start to use the office hours. Take screenshots. Oh, are we skipping forward, Anne? That's okay. If you're getting weird messages, it's really useful to the instructors for you to take screenshots and send them to us. But my #1 piece of advice overarching for all of this is to echo what Crystal has said. Online learning takes a lot of self-discipline and a lot of scheduling. So the quicker you can get into the habit of making a schedule for yourself, the better things are going to be. Each of your instructors is going to have a different weekly pattern of when things are released and when things are due. And your job is going to be hard because you're going to have to keep track of each of your instructors' scheduling style. And the best way to do that really is to keep a planner. So now's the time. It's not the holiday season. I don't know if it's the birthday season, but you've got to get yourself a planner right away. Is that me?
Yeah.
This is a great to-do list of what to get on right now. Anne already talked about accessing the DVC online link. I always tell students it's best to come to Canvas through the Dvc Home Page, because when you click through to that page, you're reminded of all the resources that are available to you. And this is where you can get linked into getting devices, getting hardware, software that you need, getting those training badges, which are really important. Some of your instructors won't know enough about those training badges, but for a lot of us, it's the only extra credit I give to my students, because I think these badges are terrific. So I highly recommend that you go in there and take advantage of them. And Anne, they can do those right now, or do they need to wait?
They are open right now, so they don't have to wait, and they can get to those through the online education page.
Outstanding.
Okay, with that note, and I think one of the things that we'll add into here is that planner. You know, have a really good planning system in mind, whether you write to-do lists on a paper pad or you use a Google Calendar, you're gonna wanna have that calendaring in place before you start. That's part of the badge too in the online success. It looks at different ways of calendaring. So with that, we wanna leave room for questions, but I just wanna leave a tiny piece of advice that things are not going to always work out perfectly on it with technology. And we're going to have some crazy moments in which things are happening and it's chaotic and we're not sure where to turn. And I think like being resourceful is a really good online skill. Like, how can I go find answers? How can I go find what I need? Who can I talk to? I think the student, I think it was Madeline, mentioned having a mentor in place is extremely important. So if you can kind of help navigate that, talk to your counselor, connect with a professor, you know, we're looking to provide mentorship in addition to just our curriculums and things like that. So with that, I think we have some Q&A that we can answer. And, you know, Professor Orta, Professor Poling, Krista, please jump into any of these questions. Any suggestions for my first time navigating Canvas?
It's counterintuitive, but jump in and don't be afraid. Just, it's really a good thing to be click happy.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to say. Push the button. Just, if you want to know what it is, just push the button. You can't break it.
We've tried. Why am I not seeing any of my classes yet?
I think it's really wonderful that students are like raring to go, but the reality of it is behind the curtain, we instructors are still building our courses and enrollment is still getting settled out amongst the sections. And basically by law, you can't get started on your coursework until the first day of school, until we've got you sort of legally, officially enrolled and the semester has begun. You can't really get started on anything that's going to count towards your grade. So while it's really heartening to see students so excited about jumping in, August 24th is going to be your big day. On August 24th, that's when your dashboard will get populated and your courses will begin. You'll probably hear from a lot of us before then, but maybe not until later next week.
And then how do I access the link to check out a computer? Again, this link will be in many places on our website, but if you go to or Google DVC Online Education, you can get to this page, and one of the places where we have put this link will be under Tech Support, Find Technology Resources. And this is the form that you will fill out with your contact information and then any technology or equipment that you may need, okay?
We have one more question I wanted to toss out there. Somebody asked, where and how do I get these badges?
Okay, great. So you can get to the badges again from this online education page. If you go to where it says log into Canvas, underneath it says Canvas Student Training Badge. We've just put both of the badges in there, and there's lots of other touch points for this, so don't be surprised if you end up on this page in different ways. But on this page, you can get access to the Canvas Expert or Training Badge. You self-enroll in the link here, and then you can also do the Online Success Badge here, and you can enroll here. This Canvas Training Badge we've had for a few years now, and we've just done a big renovation on it, so we're really excited about the updates. But this online one is brand new, so we also include some places for feedback from you, so you can tell us what you might need more of or less of and so forth. I just want to point out too, because we mentioned the home page a lot, and I was trying to finagle screen sharing and all this, but this is our DVC homepage, and you can always get to your Insight, as Professor Poling mentioned, and your Canvas here. And if you click on that Insight, that gets you to all that official stuff, and the Canvas gets you to that online education and Canvas page. So if you can't remember all of this, which would not be surprising, so we're gonna try to send you out this PowerPoint, but just remember the home page, Insight, Canvas, and you're gonna be in pretty good shape starting with those. So with that, we are going to wrap up our portion, but we again want to just say how excited we are for you, and that we're really glad that you are going to be participating in this online environment.